One, this brother Kapaya Yak with another lesson. Hit the button. I would like to start off by giving all honor, glory, and praises to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Regat Kodash, and double honor to the men of Great Millstone that's out there on the highway and byway pushing this truth day in and day out, also pushing the truth over the worldwide internet, reaching for the elect to pull them out of a two-thirds state of mind so that we can be beamed up on those chairs of salvation to live in the kingdom under King David and the supreme King Yahushua, which he has the title of command and authority and rulership over heaven and earth. Though the title was given to Yahushua by his father Yahweh. Also, I'm not a member of GMS, but I believe GMS has the 100% truth of the Bible to the Akim and Aqua, which are the men and women that listen, learn, continue to pray for more faith, repent, and fast, and keep the laws and commandments to the best of your ability, as it states in John 14:15. If ye love me, keep my commandment. Also, Ecclesiastes 12 and 13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear Yahweh, keep his commandment, for this is the whole duty of man. I want to read Deuteronomy 28:45 all the way down to well, I might have to. This is just a picture of the scripture. I might have to go into go straight to the Bible because I just got a picture and it stopped at 51. I might end up going a little bit low. I'm just going by the Spirit. So this video that you see have already been pre-recorded. I'm just going over it pretty much. You're about to see a video of the Heavenly Father, putting these curses on Jake, on Eve, on his family, because it has been prophesied from the beginning that we are going to be under a base man, and he will rule over us, and he will determine how your family status is going to be, because he in slavery did he not divide the family, and after slavery, mainly in the late 60s, early 70s, he gave our women welfare, and our women fell for it. And once again, dividing of the family. In this situation, it took the father, the head, out the household. Which Esau knows, you take the man out the house, there's no protection. Any and everything can come in that house. Women are very inferential, for emotional and acceptable to things that men are not. And the biggest thing that women are okay with, most of our women, is letting homosexuality in the house, watching it on TV, also giving these, children, there's no guidance. Children are very impressionable. They see something, they're going to act upon it. See, this is why it tell you in Job that our woman, the Heavenly Father, deprived her of, and this is 2/3 of our women, with no wisdom and understanding. She, whichever the wind blows, she's going to go along and agree with it. So let me just get into this. Deuteronomy 28 and 45. Go ahead and play it because we're about to go out. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee and overtake thee till thou be destroyed, because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Lord thy power to keep his commandment, and his statute which he had commanded thee. That's one thing that we didn't keep. Some of us kept it to the best of our ability, but a lot, they lived that solo, that soul spirit or YOLO spirit. Do as you please. Do as what the your flesh wants or please or whatever please the flesh. You're gonna do it. That type of spirit will give you that drive. Do it like Nike. And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder upon thy seed forever. Because thou servest not the Lord thy power with joyfulness and with gladness of heart for the abundance of all things. Therefore shalt thou serve thy enemy, which the Lord shall send against thee. And Esau, he has been sent against us. Can no pale face, half of a human man come against the real man? The so-called black, so-called Hispanic, so-called Native American man, woman, child. We are the chosen of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. And our power, our strength comes from our power, Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. So the Heavenly Father took our strength and gave our strength, our power, to a base man, Esau Edom, to rule over us. He blessed from also from the beginning. He knew that we were going to go off, so he blessed Esau, which is as a whole Edom, blessed them with the sword. That was, this is their power. This is their rule. Don't get me wrong. We still, as Israelites, we still have strength because we made it through all the hell that he put us through. Out there in the sun up to sundown. Esau couldn't do that. Esau would rebel and try to rebel and end up getting himself unalive, or being unalive due to cancer, not having sunscreen to protect himself. He would have weakened and died out. So 48, therefore shalt thou serve thy enemy, which the Lord shall send thee against thee. In hunger, he controls the stores, in thirst, he controls your water companies. And in nakedness, he controls your textiles, where you get your fabrics. Most of these stores are ran and controlled, by Esau Edom. From the grocery store to the water company to the textiles that make the clothing, the fabrics, the colors, and the wants of all things, in everything. He controls everything. Listen, whatever we receive, guess what? Esau had his hand on it, and it was it was taken and sold, and the people less than him had to pay for it. If you get what I'm saying. He'll conquer something, take their land, take their natural resource, and have the people to buy, which was at one point, it was free. You go out there, you get a plot of land, and you and your neighbor, y'all use the bartering system. I'll do something for you, you do something for me for that. But Esau, he want to hog it up, take it, unalive you, you know, and or deceive you and put you in submission under him, and you bind everything and wants of all needs. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee, and he have destroyed our people. Give me 1 second. Let me go in here. So give me 1 second. Hosea 4:6, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. How were we destroyed? Well, first of all, we went off. We broke the laws and commandments. We was warned. Deuteronomy 28, 1 through 15. If we keep the laws and commandments to the best, keep the laws and commandments, that we will be in perfection, But if we didn't keep the laws and commandments, the curse was going to come down on us. And part of that curse is that base man Esau. And he separated the family, separated the father that teaches the woman that, and the woman, to teach the child who they are. When you separate the child from the family, she don't know, or he don't know they don't know who their nationality is. They're going by what the superiors tell them. They don't know they power. They at once, we all knew Yahweh the Father and Yahweh Shai the Son. Now, in this day and age, most of our people know just God and Jesus. Destroyed for lack of knowledge. Your heritage, don't know it. African American, destroyed for lack of knowledge. Calling yourself Muslim, going in other doctrine, calling yourself Christian, in Christianity. That's what I meant to say. A man-made religion, discovered and made by a white man. Now we know Christian means followers of Christ. Humashiach, follower of Humashiach. But the name and the tribe that you're from, destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge. Going back to Deuteronomy, 28, 1 through 15, we accepted the curse. We didn't want to indulge in the laws and commandments and trying our best to be righteous under Yahweh B'Shem Shai. And it said also, it says here, I will also reject thee. And he rejected us. We still under the curses. His elect that's doing his work still have favor. But we all still under this curse. And this curse slowly leaving us and going on Esau Edom. That thou shalt be no priest to me, seeing that thou hast forgotten the law of Yahweh, I will also forgive thy children. Let's see. Well, there's another one. Hold on. Jeremiah 17:4. And thou, even thyself, this is just a precept to Hosea 4:6. And thou, even thyself, shall discontinue from thy heritage, knowing your tribe, knowing your power. First of all, the Father and the Son, Yahweh Shai, and your native tribe, your heritage, your bloodline, your pedigree that I gave thee. I will cause thee to serve thy enemy in the land which thou knowest not, for ye have kindled a fire in me by being disobedient, want to do what you want to do. Breaking the laws and commandments, and we all have, even from, the apostles on down, the elders on down, long as you in this body, you're going to have that spirit of Paul, for as, I want to do right, but my flesh, says another one. I'm just paraphrasing. Paul was going through it. And he was second in command under Yahweh Shai. You see, Esau And another thing, like I said, Esau, he loved to change everything. He won't, he give you English name like Paul, Peter, and all that. Those were not those men's name when they walked the earth. They had Hebrew names. Just to throw that out there. Just like Jesus, that's not his name. He had a Hebrew name, Yahweh. I will cause thee to serve thy enemies, from what I read in Deuteronomy 28 just a second ago, about we should go to him in hunger and thirst and in nakedness. So it said, and in the land which thou knowest not of Salakia, and I will cause thee to serve thy enemy. We're going to work for him, and we're going to go to him for all things. In the land which is Babylon, and you had some of us that was in slavery on the islands, the sugar canes, down there in Jamaica and in Puerto Rico, and you had slavery in South America, Central, America. Well, I don't know too much about Central America, but I know the islands and maybe South America, like Brazil or whatever, right along that area. But I'm also here in Babylon, North America. Serve thy enemy in the land which thou knowest not, for ye have kindled a fire in my anger, which shall burn forever. And it's just going to be for a long period of time. These curses are now, when you read Deuteronomy 30, and let's go there. It's falling on them now. Go to YouTube, and you see it for yourself. 30 and 7, and the Lord thy power will put all these curses upon thy enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecute thee. Go to TikTok and just put why Americans are angry and crying over what DJ Trump doing. And you see for yourself. So, these curses been on us for a long time, for a very long time. From when Yahweh Shai left us, it been on us, But let me just go ahead and read this here. I think I've already read it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead, like I said, this has just been pre-recorded. And I'm going to go ahead and just let this here play out. And if the Lord put a spirit on me to stop and say something, I will, but I'm going to let the video play all the way out. You see the curses that we're under still today.
Black women feel that their black men is not men anymore because they have lost their dignity. You know what I'm talking about? You take a black man, if he can't afford to go down to the store and buy a quart of milk, that makes a man feel like he's not no more man. Black man come in and his wife feel that he can't go buy her a decent dress. That takes something from that man, just like you or anybody else.
And part of that feeling is Esau, Jeremiah 31 and 22, uplifting the woman and putting her over the man. During the period of the 1900 on up to I'll say the 60s, so-called black man, so-called Hispanic man, so-called Native American man was the breadwinner, and Esau with his wicked scheme tactics, decided to go ahead and put, these women in places where men work, or put them in higher position, so that when that man trying to take care of his family and his woman out there working and she making the bread, and what that does, it belittle the man. It calls him to check his worth. What is he worth? And then by Eve being Eve, if the Bible says if a woman have to take care of a man, she get angry. she's not built to do that. That's in, let me just go ahead and pull that on out. So this is just in the spirit here, what is it? Is it Ecclesiasticus? Maybe 25, let me see. Yeah, Ecclesiastes 25 and 22. It says that a woman, if she maintain her husband, is full of anger and impudence and much reproach. She gonna tear your head off. She, when she get tired and you, in the house, you've been not working. You've been looking for a job all day, and sometimes, some days you just want to just relax because, you done looked all week. You looked around for 7 days, and this day, you decide to go ahead and take a rest, to recuperate, get your mind right, pray, whatever. And she see that she working hard like a man because Esau put her in that position so that, she can feel independent, strong, and all that, bad stuff that a woman not supposed to be. And now she come home, with the stress of work, with the stress of the traffic, coming from work, and she see him, with a cup of wine watching TV or a boxing match or whatever. Now she want to let loose on him. Get out. You ain't about nothing. I already got 5 kids, and you just make number 6. Get out. I can do better all by myself. See, that's how it happened in most houses during that time, and still today. With these young YN that got felonies background and stuff like that, and they can't get a job, and they just live off some woman. She got the power, and whatever, like I said, a woman in motion like the wind. Wherever the wind blows, that's where she gonna go with it. And you don't have no say so. You living on pins and needles, living under a woman. So the main part of my little rant right there, men, get your own place. Like I said, all women ain't like that, but I guarantee you, it's in the back of their mind, especially if you're not doing anything. So also, do something. Don't just sit back and let a woman take care of you. Do something, So let me just go ahead and let this play out.
Else would feel same way, but this is what the black people have to contend with. This takes some of the dignity from a man.
What you're seeing is a clip from the 1968 documentary Black on Black, filmed in South Central LA, featuring real conversations with everyday black residents. The men are explaining how their inability to find work made them feel like less of a man, and sometimes forced them out of the household entirely because of the way the welfare system was structured. Welfare at the time
No, just wicked Eve being on the team of Esau. And you wicked Eve, in agreeing with your enemy, you're going to go down right along with Esau. And also, hey, Esau, he's getting rid of you. See, one thing about Eve know that she can, do what she want with us because she got the power of Esau behind her, which is the police, the court system, the government, all that good stuff. But when it turned against you, you can't do anything to Eve. You can't do nothing to Eve. As a whole, you can't. But it's just like, if they say that so-called black on black crime or whatever, Jake is real diligent in unaliving his own brother. But when it come down to some Edomite, he ain't got to be a police figure, but most definitely a police figure. He won't eat. Not eat, but Jake won't even bust a nut when it come down. With your enemy. Now I'm not promoting violence or anything like that. I'm just giving it an example. A white man can come walk through a whole black neighborhood, so-called black neighborhood, and nothing happened. They let you know that that we're not going to do anything to him, even if he. Well, I don't want to say if he walked through that starting trouble. Yeah, you're gonna get it. But we are hard on our own people, very hard, and we show some type of gentleness for others. So let me just go back to the video. I just had to prove that point.
Included what was called the man in the house rule. If a father was living in the home, the family could lose benefits. So in some cases, men left not because they wanted to, but because leaving was the only way their wives and kids could survive. The women described the burdens they had to bear alone, trying to raise children and keep a roof over their heads without a man in the house. That's the tension in this clip.
And there you have it. By a woman being emotional, she's not seeing what the man is doing. Now, if a woman and a man got 6 children, or 3, it doesn't matter. Hard time is hard time. If he can't find a work, and this is part of Esau's plan, don't give the man the job, give the woman the job, right? Or if he can't get a job, well, we give her welfare, give her the benefit, but he can't keep a man in the house. They both know this. So by the man, he loves his family. He's raking and scraking and beating down walls, trying to find a penny, just to go and because, back then in the 60s, 5 cents, brought some food to the house. 10 cents brought some food to the house. 15 cents, $1 brought a lot of stuff to the house. You can get from what my mother told me when she was a little girl, in the late mid-50s, with late 50s, her father owned a grocery store, little neighborhood store, I say that. And a bag of sugar in her hometown at that time, I want to say in 57, 58, it was a nickel. A bag of sugar that you see in the store, that the average bag, the big bag, that people normally get. I ain't talking about the gigantic bag, but the average size bag, was a nickel. Now you had $1, you had a bag of sugar, you had milk, you had butter, you had eggs, you had meat, whatever. That was in 57, 59, somewhere along there. Now, it ain't like that, but people was poor, especially us. They say if the white man, so-called white man, catch a cold, we catch the flu. So he pretty much was separating himself from the family so that the wife, the mother of his child, the children can eat. But when raising them kids by themselves, just the mother, she's stressed. She's angry. You out there with another woman, that's part of it too. I guarantee you that was part of it too. Because a lot of men had outside families. And she took her mind off the agreement of what he had to do in order to put food in her mouth and them kids' mouth. But, by her being emotional, F that. No, F that. You out there dealing with another woman. See, and tell you, and this just in the spirit, I wasn't planning on making it this long. Ecclesiastes 26:6, but a grief of heart and sorrow is a woman that is jealous over another woman. And it says here, and a scourge of the tongue which communicate with all. She's going to be nasty with that mouthpiece. And what I mean is she's going to cuss you out. She's going to, she's going to belittle you. She's going to talk down about you towards the kids. She's going to run to Esau to put child support on you. She's going to do this. She's going to do that. She's going to tear you down. And Esau know this. This is part of his crafty counseling, is to give the woman the power. Yes, she going to get upset. She going to get hurt. She going to get jealous. She going to see her man out there living free with no responsibility. And not saying that all men didn't have no responsibility. You just had men looking for a job. And a lot of times you can't find a job. You ain't going to be sleeping outside too long. You're going to snuggle up to some woman that probably don't have children and might be doing something. And that's where you're going to lay your head at until you find something to get on your feet. And that woman that help you, stick with her. Don't throw her away. And then let her know, listen, I got a family across town with her, whatever. Been trying to, and sometimes you can explain to these women your situation. Sometimes they will understand and go along with it, but the biggest of it, due to their emotion and under the ways of Esau, they ain't gonna go along with that. That's why men just don't come out and tell you that they have another woman. They pretty much lie. Because, hell, he going through some hell. Out there sleeping with a dog every fucking night, out in the street or in his car, whatever, that stuff get played out. I'm referring to that time, in the 60s or whatever, when it was hard for a man. So let's go back to this here.
You're hearing the father's side, what it costs a man to lose the provider role, and the mother's side, the financial reality and mental stress of trying to hold everything together.
I think it's very rare to have both original parents in the home nowadays in time, because things, just like I say, during that time, things were so hard when I was a kid that most fathers would just desert the mother, or they were having babies so fast and they didn't know how to stop until the father would just get disgusted and just up and leave. That was the only thing he knew to do.
If a man's in the house, she can't get state aid.
See, that's the emotional side of a woman that said that he just went on and just deserted them. A man love his family. A man gonna love his sons, his daughter. Don't get me wrong. You have a small percentage of men that's gonna just hit and run, get a woman pregnant, and not give a damn. See, and this what Eve pushes still today. This is what the white man will sit back and let her push this knowledge. What this man was saying, we just not hearing the man's side of the story. It's just like today, a woman held a child, she raised a child. The woman, she gonna say everything under the sun, what he ain't doing or what he did to her, and he cheated and this and that and this and that. And now the child have a negative outlook on his father. And then at some point he don't want to even see his father. Or when he do see his father, it's anger. He want to fight. He want to be disrespectful to the father. See, the father always get it at the tail end, and that child, that his daughter, his son is full of corruption from what the mama said. Now he got to weed through all that. He got to pull out papers. He got to pull out videos, court documentaries. Court papers. Letters, phone call recording that she said and what she gonna do and telling him, well, you ain't gonna never see the child. Now when you hear his side of the story, now you can balance it out. Now you can see that your mama was wicked. Or you can see that your daddy was wicked. But I guarantee you that when that child get older, they'll find out the truth. And all that stuff that was said were nothing but lies. So now you, like I said, you just heard a woman emotional side right there. They just got up and left. When it's one too many, they just go ahead and go. That's bullshit. Now, I'm not saying again. I'm not saying that a lot of that. I mean, some of that didn't happen. But when you say things like that, you make it sound like that all men did that. But now you can hear this man's side of the story.
So this man, he has to go. He leaves voluntarily. It ain't nothing between him and his wife. He leaves voluntarily for ornaments for his kids and for his wife to survive. He leaves, and then the state will support him as long as he's not there. If the white man would stop and realize and think that the black man feels the same about his wife as he feels about his, I think it would be a better understanding too. The black man don't want his wife to get up and go to work every morning and punch a time card right along with him. He wants his wife home just like the white man wants his wife at home.
See that? And that's biblical. Have you heard a story about a virtuous woman? You can read, I think that's in Proverbs 31. You can read Titus 2. You can read 1 Timothy 2. And I want to say 9 on down or whatever. You can go to Ephesians 5 and 20, if I'm not mistaken, on down. Tell a woman, that her position, number one, to be submissive, and you supposed to be at home. You ain't supposed to be at a job around other men. That's how infidelity come in, because men and women they attract to each other, right? Not saying that she's supposed to be in the home all day, but when she want to go out, the husband take her out. Take her to the movie, take her to the restaurant, go to a park. But while he at work, you closed in with those kids. Or even if you don't have kids, you there in their house until he come back. You belong to him. But women today look at that as slavery. Well, things gonna change. We at the end. Let's see if there ain't any more on this. I think that's it. Yeah. That's it right there. So hopefully this was edifying. See you on the next lesson. Shalom.